This is the Propaganda Report. That was the music of Justin Ridgway, who's probably not even listening. Justin. I'm your host, Brad Binkley. Joining me today is Kim. Again, thank you for joining me. You are, among other things, you're an actress and a producer. You've created a lot of your own film work, and you've done so in the face of cancellation, perhaps. Not that you've done anything too cancelable, but it's tough as someone who is not necessarily fully left-leaning to do film if you want to do something that has maybe a little bit of a different impact. And that's kind of part of the theme of the show today, which is why I'm glad you're here, because I know you'll have some insights and questions that I won't think of, because we have a special guest. And before we bring him on, the reason I'm excited about our guest today is because of the purpose of this show. For those who've listened for a long time, you're familiar with it. It's in the title, the Propaganda Report. The reason that I did the show from the beginning, obviously I've always wanted to do things from a little bit of a silly comedic lens, but also based in research and based in as much earnest truth as possible. Nobody knows the answers to everything. I'm well aware of that, but the purpose of this show has always been to expose propaganda. It's always been not just to expose it, but to expose the way that it works, the sources of contact that it comes from, how it affects you emotionally and psychologically, how it turns you against people, how it causes you to ignore the best qualities within you that could be cultivated and used to empower you, used to accomplish whatever you want in the world. Instead, it disempowers you. It makes you believe you have to rely on a system or a government or a politician, that you cannot survive without it or them or they. And I'm not talking about the new version of the pronouns. I'm talking about the big, behind-the-scenes, secret, hidden hand Edward Bernays always talked about. Propaganda, for the most part, the way it affects us, is not designed to empower and enable you to exist and thrive without the existence of a controlling superstructure. It's designed to do exactly the opposite. And it causes people to ignore the uniqueness within them that they could identify, cultivate, and then apply to the world and achieve anything. But those who benefit off of people feeling disempowered, they don't want that, because that is how you lose control of people. An empowered populace is one that's uncontrollable. And so I recognized this a long time ago, because I think we've all felt that at some point in our lives. We've all felt a little bit like insecure, like we're incapable of things. And when you look at where it comes from, a lot of it comes from what you think you're supposed to be. And it seems very intentional. And my goal has always been to empower people to achieve and accomplish and survive on their own terms, maximizing what's unique about them. And the way I do it is through this podcast and through comedy. And there's many ways to do it. And the guest that we have today does it in a way that I admire. I film, makes movies, does podcasts also, but film specifically is something that I know, Kim, we're both actors, and like I've always wanted film to be something that wasn't just propaganda designed to get us into war. And we have someone here who is, I think, making the best messages for empowerment. My intro is way too long there, but I'm so excited about it because I align with this guy. Drew, welcome to the show. I didn't say your last name because I thought I was going to mispronounce it. I got to be honest with you. I always get nervous before I bring a guest on, because I'm like, I'm going to mispronounce it. But Drew is the director of the Jones Plantation, of Barnum World, of many, many other films, and someone who's not afraid to challenge authority with art. Drew, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on. It's Treglia. Yeah. Just kind of spell it out. Everybody wants to add. Well, I'm an ethnically cleansed mutt, like most Americans, but yeah, I have half of me is Roman. Yeah.
All right. So Drew, I love the.
Which, by the way, not to cut you off, but I've been really pissed off lately because my mom was a what do they call that when you study ancestry? She was a genealogist. Okay. Yeah. And they used to have this citizenship program in Italy where you could get, as long as you could prove your great grandfather before he had his grandfather, you go to your great grandfather came from Italy. As long as they didn't break the bloodline, he didn't rescind his citizenship before he broke the bloodline. And my mom had all the paperwork, proved everything. I had everything lined up, and I told her she never got me. They have these things in Europe called apostilles. It's like you get it certified, then you have to get an apostille. Long story short, I never got the apostilles. I went to the when I was in LA, I went to the Italian consulate. They said, you need apostilles. I never got them, and they freaking, what's her face, just canceled the program. I sat on it for like 3 years. I had the method, the means, and I never took action.
Who canceled it?
Italy, the right wing. She pretended like it was a right wing thing, but then she gave 1,000 African citizenship.
The blonde,
yes.
Right? Yeah.
Maloney, or something like that.
The
Maloney,
hot blonde in Italy is all they ever
She's
talk
kind of
about.
hot. Yeah. And I'm so mad. I got a guy wanted to go home. There's a city in Italy with my name. I sat on it. So the message to young men is when it's time, take action. Don't wait. Take action.
Don't hesitate, or the hot blonde will prevent you from ever going home again.
I cannot believe she did that, man. I'm so mad. I was so bummed out about that. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Meanwhile, Trump's like, I'd bang her. If Melania said it was okay, I'd bang her.
I think Trump might be gay, actually. Have you seen this one?
Yeah,
I think he's actually gay.
I've heard about the theory that him and Bill Clinton, like 69 or something like that.
Yeah. Well, no. Have you seen the videos where like there's a gay guy on Instagram? He does these videos where he mouths Trump talking, and he does like a gay guy. It's hilarious. Have you seen it?
No, you can share it if you have it up there.
I don't know where the hell it is.
No, I haven't seen it.
It's really funny. But Trump's the stuff Trump's saying is, he's so gay, man. He's so gay.
His mom was a big theater person. She was big. That's why he's so theatrical and dramatic. Because his mom has this big background, and his I think it was his great grandmother's name is Christian. And his uncle who got the Tesla papers after Tesla died. It's just crazy.
So what makes you think Trump is gay? What is he saying that's gay?
The way he sucks D.
Is that what?
Yeah, that's the thing. The video, he's like, oh, he's big. They're so good. Look at this good-looking guy. Like, there's like a million of these videos. Like, oh, look at this big
muscles.
They big strong guys. They can. When he talks about when they fake shot at him or whatever at that dinner he had. Remember the guy ran in and shot him or whatever, tried to shoot him?
The guy who ran through the
he was talking about the FBI guys or the cops or the bodyguards, whatever.
Oh,
and he was just like,
looking.
It's like, oh, they were good looking, really good looking guy. Yeah.
That's really important that the security guards are good
looking. Big, strong.
That makes all the difference.
He looks like he could plow. He looks like he could really pop. Yeah.
We was running around with Roy Cohn back in the day.
Oh, right. That's right. Roy Cohn, who was closeted gay, was his mentor. Mm-hmm. He had AIDS, right? Did you know this?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, Roy Cohn was a big mob. He was a mob lawyer at the time too.
Wow, he had AIDS.
Which I don't fault Trump for dealing with the mob back in the '80s. I mean, you're going to do construction in New York, you got to deal with the mob. They call it a mob tax. It's like 2% of everything you build in New York, the mob takes. It's called a mob tax.
And if you don't, you're going to get a little bit of AIDS.
I feel like the construction's not going to get done unless you deal with the mob at least once. At least once in your life, you got to have some connection to the mob.
Is Trump? So Trump is
bring back the mob.
He has worked with mob. Is he a mobster or is he just a New York Don? He just has that attitude. What do you think, Drew?
I think he just dealt with them. He's not. I mean,
what do you think
the government
about
is
Trump?
the biggest mafia of all. I think I call him Rabbi Rugpool.
Okay, well, yeah, dude, that's crazy, isn't it?
He rug pulled his own people with a cryptocurrency. I can't even believe that.
You know, Hawk Tua does it, she gets slammed. Trump does it. People are like MAGA.
Listen, the reason why Trump is so dangerous is because this. I understand. I couldn't stand Joe Biden, just like and Kamala and all those weirdos. I get it, but the difference is, I know who they are. The Trump, he tricks all the people that want the right things. The people that want freedom, he drove them into a ditch and lied to them and did the exact opposite of what he was going to say. That's what the Republicans' job is to keep all the people that want freedom wrapped up in this fake red-blue system, so they pretend like they're fighting. There's somebody up there fighting for you, which is a Barnum statement. And then they just keep people going on and everything. They just keep running the scam over and over and over again.
And that is what I like about your movies, is that you highlight that dynamic, especially in the Jones Plantation, where you have the two. The slaves are convinced they're workers, and then you have a choice over who is leading you, and it's a false choice because neither one of them are actually in charge. for people who haven't seen it, give people a little bit of background on what Jones Plantation, your film, I think came out in 2023, is about.
Well, it's an allegory and a satire of the enslavement system we live in today through the lens of a slave plantation in the 1800s in America. So people think that they're going in, they're watching a slave movie, and then very quickly you realize that no, we're watching something that's about today. And it's more kind of I call it a cult film just because I knew we would never compete. It was supposed to originally be like a serious drama, but I knew we could never compete in a period piece with the budget that we had. So we had to make something completely so if you love it or hate it, it's up to you, but you'll never see anything like it. It has comedy, it's got drama, it has some suspense, has lots of different genres in it. It's kind of its own little thing.
I mean, it says the hard R the way I would love to say it sometimes on stage, to be honest with you, with jokes. But
we got shit for that. But it's like, I mean, you're making a film about a slave plantation in the 1800s.
So what are you going to do? Sugarcoat it?
Right. It's ridiculous. It'd be ridiculous. What are they supposed to say? N-word?
Right. What was the budget on your? If you don't mind me asking, I mean, it was raised money in different ways.
Yeah, it was piecemeal, but about $300,000 would say was the budget. That's the number.
Yeah, I'd love to ask you more about that process, maybe later on in the show. But what was the and let me take a step back here. So the film, I know you've seen it too, Kim. It definitely deconstructs modern reality. Just as you said, in an allegory, where it's like the illusion of choice. It's perception control. It's not about changing circumstances. It's about changing people's perception of circumstances and creating the belief that they are deciding things. And you as someone who's been doing, you've been working in film for a very long time. What was the feedback from people when you made this film?
It was really good. Feedback was great. I mean, it's been seen in over 60 countries so far, and it was taught for a semester in a place called Brock University outside of Toronto.
Really?
Yeah, and I get emails and stuff from people. I have all the time. People tell me like that, because people can immediately see that I'm on their side. I'm not a filmmaker who's out trying to push some sort of anti-human horseshit agenda on you. I'm actually on the side of the people, which is kind of a Barnum statement, but you know what I'm saying. If people don't know, a Barnum statement is a statement that sounds like it means something, really.
But it means nothing.
It means nothing because it means something different to everyone who hears it. So
right. It's empty. It's after P.T. Barnum, who used to do so P.T. Barnum's autobiography is a recommended read. It just demonstrates all of these publicity stunts that he would do.
Right.
He would even write fake letters to the editor criticizing himself because all publicity is good publicity, and he wanted to create controversy, and that led to this propaganda tactic of the Barnum statement. So it's like in the Jones Plantation, you use Barnum statements, but you show that you show the masses, which are the slaves, just trying to survive, and this guy pulling the strings. First of all, identity. He relates to them through identity. You put the right identity in front of any group, and that's going to make it easier for them to accept something, and that's what it looked like. And then false choice, and you're workers now. You're doing things for us. And then in the Barnum world, you showed the actual tricks with these Barnum statements. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So the Jones Plantation is basically the slaves are getting uppity, and the Joneses are afraid they're going to revolt, and so they hire this guy basically, he calls himself a slave smith, and it turns out he's black. He was a former slave, which was a choice we made in pre-production. It was not because the film was an adaptation of a short little animated thing that's on the internet. It's been on the internet for like 10, 12 years. Scott.
Right.
And
Larkin Rose was the writer.
Right,
of that, correct?
Right. Well, Larkin Rose was the primary screenwriter of the film. Once we got on set, though, we had to rewrite a lot of stuff. It was crazy. But what was I talking? Oh, because the Smith wasn't black in the original But when we were making it and we were doing the screenplay, I'm like, I feel like if we don't, something's, if everybody's white, this is going to be a film about race. We need to trick people. And then we were like, at the same time, we're like, what if he's black? And we got all, it was like a moment. We were like jumping up and down. We were excited.
I mean, it's perfect though. That's how they do it. I mean, that's
right.
I was picturing Stacey Abrams the whole time.
Right. I mean, and so he shows up and basically they take the plantation from the whips and the chains to a brainwashing, mind control, psychological programming, trick the people into thinking that they're in charge, that they run the plantation because they can vote. They create basically a democracy, and they use all the same tricks that you hear today. So then they create a monetary system. They have an election, but it's all ruse. The guy Smith says doesn't matter who wins. It's not who's in charge; it's who they think is in charge. It's just us here. We're in charge, so don't worry about it. It doesn't matter who's in charge. It's just that's what the red blue is. It's just. I'm not the original of this thought, but it's basically the Harlem Globetrotters versus the Washington Generals. I think it's the Generals, right?
Yeah. Right.
One team is there to lose. The Republicans are the Generals, and the government is the Washington Globetrotters. And it's just nonsense. The people then they're fighting for you, and they're fighting for freedom, and we got to get the right people in there. And it's all just a ruse. It's all just organized crime masquerading as a public service. That's all.
Yeah.
So that's what the film is. It basically turns the plantation into this ruse where the people think that they're in charge, and one guy decides to stand up, and I won't give the film away, but it's
right. So I was trying to identify. I was thinking about earlier. It's like a drinking game to identify some of the tactics used that are used in today. You have the like a false flag of sorts.
We do false flag. Yeah. Well, you can't. They say, "Well, for free, can we leave?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, sure, you can leave, but there's a lot of other plantations around and." They might scoop you up. It's dangerous out there. I wouldn't leave if I were you. And
that choice, it's that is, so elections today are Walter Lippmann wrote about this a long time ago, where it's, and you really highlight this in both of these films we're talking about, is people have to believe that it was their choice. And so it's like, if you're trying to manipulate a mass of people, how can we construct something? And use these techniques to make them think they chose what we already long decided. And it's interesting. I wonder. So I'm thinking about my progressive friends who I would like to show your movie to, and how they would react to it, because it's people will see something and they'll be like, look at that person being manipulated. They're so dumb. I'm so smart. And you'll hear them say stuff, and it's like, this is a smart person in every other aspect of their life. But they're just repeating exactly what MS Now or Fox News or CNN said, and they're oblivious to it. So it's like they create this idea that people think that they're out of the cave. When there's some of the ones deepest. That's what your movie made me think about. It made me think maybe I'm still in the cave, or what level I'm in.
Yeah, kind of like that character in the movie that thought he was free towards the end. He had the illusion that he was free, so he goes out and then he gets attacked. So he wasn't really free, and it was all staged, Yeah,
he was set up to lose.
So that's sort of like analogous to the people you're describing, people who think that they're free. They have this illusion that they're free, and then they're pointing at everyone else, and they're trying to, educate everyone else, but really they're just in a cave within a cave, and they don't realize it.
Right.
So
yeah.
Tom Woods said the film was like, he reminded him of Plato's Cave. It's funny you're bringing up the cave.
Yeah, it made me think a little bit about Plato's Cave too. And I saw David Icke talking about it. That's an honor of David Icke.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, he was cool. My film is on their channel behind their paywall.
Very cool.
So,
and David Icke was
cool.
one of the first people, one of the first conspiracy people that I encountered when I was younger. He still watches.
His kids are cool. His sons are really nice guys.
Yeah,
actually,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
did
you
said
get
something
pushed
I wanted
back in Hollywood though? That was a question I wanted. So you in the conspiracy alternative media community, it's right up our alley. But as someone who is, you work in this industry, did you get any?
Well, I was out of LA at that point. But the only thing I would say is I had there was and I wanted to comment on your friends because there's some stuff there. But when we got the script done, I had some friends that worked in some writers. They have a producing team in L.A. Real writers like this kid went like real writers in L.A. They're all Ivy League. I don't know if people realize that, but anyways, they loved the script and they wanted to buy it, but I wasn't going to be allowed to direct it. And they were going to just bring my company on as a producer. And then they were going to make it about race. At least they were honest about that. And I was like, that's not happening. Sorry. Yeah. But the funny thing about that is the film, Jones, I would say like 85% of the people like really love it. Then there's like a 5%, well, maybe I'm over exaggerating, maybe 80, and then like 10%, like, I think they're kids that aren't used to looking at indie films. Like some of these kids are like, some of the younger kids, maybe they're like, this is too indie for me. I've heard that a few times. And then there's like a 10% people that fucking hate. Can I swear on this? Sorry, I didn't mean to swear.
Yeah, you can say anything you want.
Hate it. I love that. That's really good because you want a reaction. You know what I mean? And it's so funny. I've said this before. There's a platform, I don't remember which one it is, where people review movies or whatever. And I posted this because one has 4 stars, one of the best films I've ever seen. The whole world needs to watch this film. And then under it literally said, I hated this film so much, it made me physically ill. I love those two.
That's quite the response. They're in love with you.
Yeah.
They're saying that.
Yeah. I always say if you don't have some haters, you're not making bold enough decisions. Right. You have to have some haters. That means you're successful. So I'm curious, how do you respond to the haters? Like, what's your biggest criticism you've received about this film, and how do you respond?
Like, nothing that I would care about. I think like people might have said I was like racist or some stupid shit. I don't know.
It's such an easy criticism that shit. It's you're just representing the times.
It's an allegory.
Well, the people that you guys know who Jason Christoff is.
Yes.
You might get him on the show sometime. He's good, but I can connect you to him if you ever want to get him on. Look at his work. But he did this documentary called Planet Mind Control, and it's a really good entry level film about mind control and how they mind control us. And we talk about this in Barnum World, the repetitive content. That's a big trick that they use over and over on us. But the people that are easiest to trick are the actual people that are sort of what they call midwits. The people within the sort of 110 to 130 IQ range, they're the easiest to trick. The easiest because they think they're too smart to trick, but they're not smart enough to know they're not that smart.
Universities.
Right, exactly. So there's that meme where there's like a really like kind of retarded guy at the bottom, and he's like, I'm not taking that vaccine. And then all the middle people are like, I'll get vaccinated. And then at the end, there's a really smart guy at the other end of the bell curve. It's like, I'm not taking that vaccine. And that's kind of the thing is like the people in the middle that think they're smart, too smart to be tricked, but they're actually not smart enough to realize they're not that smart. You know what I mean? So
right, dude. And that's like,
yeah. It takes a level of intelligence to acknowledge how much you don't know.
Humility too. It takes humility. Yeah.
And I think right now what they're doing with propaganda exposure is it feels like they're laying this stuff out there. So a lot of people in that range you're talking about say, oh, I recognize it. I got it.
Yeah.
But what's really happening is operating layers beneath it on a more psychological and emotional level that they don't recognize.
Yeah. I mean, do you guys think it's important to always check yourself and ask, okay, am I really out of the cave? Or because I feel like the more certain I feel about something, the more I get concerned that I don't know, like the more I question what I know.
That's a good trait. That's a really good trait to have.
That's important to always ask questions, especially when you start to feel certain about something. That's when you should keep asking questions.
The only thing I'm certain about for sure is that the system is a control and extortion system. That's its primary purpose. And that the people that are in charge are wicked beyond imagination. And if you don't believe me, have you read the book, I bet you have, Program to Kill?
I have read that.
Dave McGowan. Yeah, that's people can listen to it on YouTube. It's text to what they call that, audio to text or whatever, text audio. So it's kind of like robotic, the reading. but it's quick. I like listening to books because I can do them a lot faster. But it is when you listen to that or read that, the game's over. It's like that is just beyond. You can't even imagine that kind of evil, And these people are running around these so-called governments all over the world. I mean, I do know. It doesn't matter.
Think it's definitely sinister people. They don't have any good intentions. What do you think their overall objective is? Is it just power and control?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, there's probably good people that get in there, but then they quit, or they get run out, or they get compromised.
They get corrupted.
There's a clip in Barnum World where I have on whatever you think of Michael Malice. He interviewed who's the guy from Michigan that quit? Justin Amash. Now, Justin Amash seems like he has some integrity. And he admits in the interview, he's like, it's like professional wrestling. He's like, well, what do you, when you get in there, he's like, people think they're in some sort of democracy. He goes, that's not what's happening. It's a show. Totally and he said when those ridiculous hearings where they're yelling at each other. Yeah. Like Ted Cruz is yelling at AOC and boo. Right. It's all scripted. He says they give
afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, he said afterwards they'll meet and go, hey, that was really good. Remember when you said that, and then you got me, and then I came back with you, and they sit and talk. Like that was really good, man. You got me good there. And he said they just hand you a script, and Justin Marsh's like, I'm not reading this shit, and so he never got on the air. So the people that you see the most are the biggest actors, the ones that are willing to do the acting, and the ones that are willing to are good at it.
Many of them wanted to be actors too.
That's right.
If you look into their background. Stacey Abrams, she got accepted to a school for drama to be an actress, and then her family were activists. They worked with the Black Panthers. She actually, her father would send her in to a school, so she won a writing contest or something.
So what did she then? She eat her acting coach, and that was the end of that, or what?
Yeah, she ate her acting coach. And everyone in this, there's like an army of Democrat staffers that live in her vagina. I tell people,
something's
if the
going
bomb
on
drops, that's where I'm hiding. But there was actually a book signing of hers. She's a romance novel writer. She's very filthy. It's Selena Gomez. Yeah, she writes
really
romance
erotic.
novels under the name Selena Gomez, and she's a dirty, dirty slut.
Really?
She writes a lot about taut knobs.
Right. Okay. Yeah. She's got a taut knob.
It's really spicy. I highly recommend it if you want, a late night romance.
Right. Have you read it?
To get you going.
We have read some of it,
just
actually.
Parts of it. She likes using the word taut knob.
She uses the word taut.
What does that mean?
A lot.
What's a taut knob?
Her baby dick or her clit. I'm not sure.
That means.
I don't know what the fuck she's talking about.
Taut knob.
But yeah, Candace Owens also wanted to be an actor, right?
Candace Owens is an actor. Erica Kirk, they all started. But we're actors too, so to criticizing, I get it, but their background is in performance, all of them. AOC was not a bartender slinging drinks after her father died. AOC grew up in a wealthy white neighborhood, right? North of where she was from. I remember finding the house years ago because we used to do these profiles on some of these individuals that would emerge out of nowhere, and their stories that they told were never true. They were just people who were selected because of their ability to appeal to certain groups, and they could play that character. And it's like why? So when you look in their
willingness to lie, they'll say anything and do anything.
Right.
They don't care. So I would say that pretty much all of them are sociopaths.
That's right.
And then some of them are psychopaths. So not every sociopath is a psychopath, but every psychopath is a sociopath.
What's the difference in those two?
A sociopath, in my basic understanding of this, somebody who's studied this might have a better definition. But my basic understanding is that a sociopath will have certain people around them that are close to them that they care about. Okay. Where a psychopath just doesn't care. It hates humanity. Could care less about anybody and do anything. Psychopaths are more likely to kill, But like I say, I think some sociopaths are psychopathic. Like if Joe Biden got caught, had a hooker that was going to have a kid, and they're like, "Look, we're going to bring her to the hotel, and you're going to kill her, and then we'll take care of the body later." He'd be like, "No problem." You know what I mean? Like he would not care. Yeah, but right. I don't think he's like I don't think he has
killer as well.
Whatever. Yeah, he will do what he needs to do. He's not like Netanyahu is a little psychopath. You know what I mean? like a child-killing psycho, you know.
So you think Biden is a sociopath, but not a psychopath?
For sure. Oh, 100%. 100% for sure. 100%. Let me tell you a story about Joe Biden. Joe Biden had his so-called best friend who would have his when he was like in the state house or whatever, when he was younger. And this guy would have, what do they call it? Like parties so he'd get money. What do they call that? Fundraisers, right?
Yeah, fundraisers.
So he was his best buddy, his best friend.
Yeah.
He found out Joe Biden was cheating on his, I think it was his wife at the time, with Jill Biden. Okay, the guy was
daughter, I think.
Well, no, it was Joe Biden was this guy's. Oh, this guy's wife was Jill Biden, his best friend. I can't remember what his name is.
Oh, that was Joe Biden's husband. Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay.
But he found out because Joe Biden was driving the guy's damn Corvette with Jill Biden in it and wrecked the guy's Corvette. So what kind of a man wrecks another man's Corvette is what I'm saying. Forget stealing the wife. Driving around the guy's car, like that's a total sociopathic.
And despite
his
what
best
Joe
friend
Biden says, like Joe Biden's vagina is not a Corvette. We're talking about the car.
I mean, what a piece of shit, though. Think about that. Your best friend is cheating on your wife in your Corvette and then wrecks the thing.
And it wrecks it. I mean, it's like, it makes me think of what Newsom in California. These people all just fuck each other. Saul Alinsky talks about, all these organizers talk about that in these books. So like, if you have a relationship, it's just for show. Everybody fucks everyone. And it's an illusion. And these marriages are arranged and shit. It seems like anyway. And it's all part of this like facade.
And most people can't wrap their head around it because most people are just decent, good people. And they can't imagine that that's the way these people are. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I feel like most good people are more trusting. You know, a liar thinks everyone lies. A thief thinks everyone steals. A good person wants to think everyone else is a good person. So it's hard to imagine that all of the leaders of the world are sociopaths or psychopaths. But yeah, so based on what I know, a sociopath has a hard time understanding someone else's emotions.
No
they're
empathy.
Capable of feeling some emotion on some level. It's like low-grade emotion. They're not capable of feeling really deep emotions. And they have a hard time understanding and reading other people. But a psychopath is completely incapable of ever feeling guilt or empathy, based on what I understand. So
I think a sociopath can read people well, but like doesn't have any empathy.
Is that
because
so?
They're like narcissistic tricksters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they
can
both
fake it.
Yeah.
They can fake it better.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can. It's called mirroring. You know,
Right.
They can mirror other people's emotions without actually.
They both
That's
exploit the sympathy and empathy of the average person too.
That's right.
It's like this structure has been created that most of us operate in. We presume most people are well intended and we all have our flaws. And then we hear stories about some of this stuff, like Jeffrey Epstein and this crazy stuff that people do. Like I think you had a scene in Jones Plantation where he was whipping himself and worshiping Baal or something like that.
Yeah, we had to have that. There's a taste of it because they're all in the dark arts. See, then you asked me that earlier, and I go, I don't know because I've talked to Legal Man about this. I don't. He's the guy who played Mr.
I know
Jones.
Legal Man. I've been on a show. He's been on the show a few times.
Okay. Yeah. We talked about like if there's not some sort of extra human metaphysical thing going on when you keep peeling back the onion, I'll be disappointed. Like if there's not, it's so insane. Like if it's just a bunch of assholes being assholes, I'll be very disappointed. I just can't imagine, there's not some sort of alien metaphysical something. I don't know.
I'm sorry, curious if the main character in Red, if he was actually supposed to represent Satan, or if he's just a Satan worshiper himself.
That's so funny. There's been people that have done that, like take, where somebody did a take where he was a ghost. Technically, he never really existed.
Okay.
I like to people their own interpretation, but I would just say that he definitely is involved in the dark arts, and so are a lot of these people. A lot of these people are involved in the dark arts. I mean, again, Programmed to Kill. There's many options out there, but.
So I'm curious, what scene do you think articulates or expresses the main message of the movie the most effectively? Like, do you have like a favorite scene in the movie that you think expresses the themes?
Yeah, it's actually one of my favorite scenes, and it was something we just talked about, was the scene where they're on the stairs, and he says, to wield real power, you must be willing to do what most consider unthinkable. And then Jones says, well, I think what most people consider unthinkable is that men like you even exist. And then Smith says, that's our greatest advantage. And that's kind of what we were talking about earlier, is most people just can't, they don't realize how they're being ruled over by the worst people in society. It's not just people, they're out there working. They think people are out there, they're working hard, it's tough, trying to get the right thing, trying to do the right thing. Or no, these are just really, really bad actors, I think.
Right. Bad actors in one way, good actors in another way, in that they can pretend to be relatable to the populace and different groups of people, and people look at them and they say, that message resonates with me. I see myself in them, and they're promising to represent me. And when conspiracy theorists, like I think we would probably all be described by many people, say, well, there's all this crazy shit going on. Most people say, well, I would never do any of that stuff. So therefore that stuff must not happen. And that's the challenge of waking people up, which I don't even know what the right term is to use anymore, because so many terms get convoluted, which is Barnum stuff. It's like you have these terms that can be weaponized, and the definitions can change. But talking to people individually, doing the show, and film, I think is I admire what you've done with your films, because that's kind of the stuff that I want to do with comedy and film. Is I don't want to make stuff that's like stupid and like, I want it to be like meaningful and have an impact, and you've done that. And what would you, especially right now, because I know people who are who work in Hollywood, who are actors, who are closeted conspiracy theorists. People come out to me as like a conspiracy theorist, or every now and then somebody will walk up to me, somebody who everybody knows as being a huge progressive or Democrat. And for some reason, they come up to me and they go, hey, I fucking love Donald Trump. And I'm like, everybody gather around, listen to what Dan just told me. But like that happens to me often because everybody else judges them and stuff. And there's people who are so locked in and afraid to express their beliefs through their art when in the film and acting industry. What advice would you give to them, or what path would you direct them towards?
Oh God, I don't give advice on that. I'll tell you this though. 2016, I knew Trump was going to win. I was in LA, and I was working on a commercial for GoDaddy. Okay.
Oh, nice.
And we were in this really nice apartment downtown, and but the crew people in LA are generally really good blue collar people. And they just have to keep their mouth shut. They can't keep their job, right? Oh, I just brought this because it was kind of related to what we were talking about earlier. If you want to, this did pretty well on Twitter. It's pretty funny though. But I knew they were going to win because they were all talking about Trump. Yeah, they were, and so I took him at 8-1 in 2016 and won some money because they were all like tiptoeing around and this Trump guy's in this. Do you see what Trump said? Like I could hear them talking about it very carefully, and I'm like, these motherfuckers are going to vote for Trump. I think he's going to win. Anyways, sorry.
You could tell though, because he understood the media and his team like they knew how to.
Only if he was real. Can you imagine how great if Trump was real? If he was real, it would have been great. Yeah. If he actually drained the swamp, if he actually crossed the Rubicon and did what needed to be done, you know how great it would have been.
It's like, and I think you can not like some of the stuff he does, and also think he's funny and charming, which I think he's funny and charming.
He used to be. He's not as funny. He used to be funny. He's not funny anymore. He was funny for a while. I thought he was funny too. He's not even funny anymore. His tweets are shit.
Used to be.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting in your movie. I saw a lot of parallels to politicians who think, you look at a politician and you think that they actually have the power, but they're puppets too. They're actors too. They're
That's
actually
right.
being manipulated by the system as well.
They wouldn't be there.
Right.
They wouldn't be there.
Right. So I
They
like
wouldn't
that
be there.
you made that point in the movie.
Well, I mean, you look at these people, they just lie, and you go, how can they just lie like that? But that's what they do.
That is their best skill.
They just don't care. They don't have any, they have no shame. They don't care. It's not that they're hypocrites. They don't give a fuck.
That's
you know what I mean?
a sociopath is somebody who
That's right.
is
That's
a
right.
skilled liar and who can
Right.
be charming enough to
Right.
fool people and to fake empathy.
That's why they're given
and
the
to
job.
seem relatable. That's what a good
AOC
friendship
is a sociopath, 100% a sociopath.
Right.
AOC. Ted Cruz is a
And I don't care how big her
sociopath.
tits are. I can see her sociopathy beyond them.
I think she's overrated. I like the blonde version they made. You ever see that one with the blonde blue eyes?
No, I haven't seen that
AOC.
one.
She was hot. Yeah.
The Erica Kirk.
She said it was racist. She got all mad of it. Yeah, she's like an
Did she?
Aryan
That's hilarious.
Norwegian.
Going back to your question, though, I have an answer for that. So, if I was giving advice to young filmmakers or actors who want to be in films and are worried about, oh, how is this going to be perceived because Hollywood is so left-leaning, I would say that wouldn't you prefer to be hired based on your talent as opposed to being hired based on your politics? And if somebody doesn't want to hire you because you voted for so-and-so, why would you want to work with them anyway? Because filmmaking doesn't have to be about politics. It can be, but it doesn't have to. Like every movie in Hollywood now seems to have a political message, which I appreciate any film with a message. I think it's important to have some sort of message. But, you know,
and I want to show. Oops, sorry.
I didn't mean to, by the way, I didn't mean to curve off your question like that. We can get back to the advice thing. Maybe I just need a little more.
No, so
little more
we'll
understanding
get into that because that does lead into this. I'm going to play that clip that we're going to share in a second because that fits right into that. What that relates to when it comes to what you're doing and kind of what I'm doing too is people are afraid to express their opinions, I believe, or pursue opportunities where I'm going to deliver a message that maybe isn't acceptable because they don't believe in themselves, because there's been a propaganda apparatus that makes them think that they have to rely on these other people who have higher statuses and special unique skills or degrees or whatever, and they can actually do shit themselves. And the government and these institutions are nothing without them. And part of the propaganda is making people feel incapable and helping people realize that they can just fucking do anything they want. They can like these politicians, the socio-psychopaths, they don't give a fuck about all these fucking rules that restrain everybody else.
No.
That doesn't mean you should be immoral at all. It means you should to recognize that it's kind of a con job to make us think we're supposed to be restrained by the shit that they're fucking laughing at. Fuck those motherfuckers. You know, everybody's capable of things. And once people realize that and they don't have to rely on that, then they can start putting those ideas and say, you know what, I'm going to find an audience for this like you did. Like there's definitely an audience that was ready to receive your films and because they believed in what you believed in and believed in what you expressed and that like I think it takes people a long time to be able to express that publicly because they fear being criticized, but it's very freeing. The slavery is when they can't do it.
Yeah, and you don't have to give your power away to Hollywood elites. You can create your own work. You can create your own films. You can tell your own stories that express whatever you believe. You don't have to subscribe to the popular opinion in Hollywood. And you can still be successful.
Yeah, you don't have to race swap the Wonder Years or something and be like, "This is my show."
You don't have to sell your soul.
Well, there's a huge lane right now because I'm not convinced that I know that they have the the shorts now and a lot of the kids like that stuff, but the technology of filmmaking isn't going anywhere. It's a great technology. The theater's amazing. And people want good films, and I feel bad for the theaters because they can't. They're trying to do everything to get people in there because they're making such shitty work now that I think there's a huge opportunity. This film we knew it was going to be 2 to 5 years with Jones Plantation to be fully out, and we've had a couple mainstream moments. We were on Jason Whitlock's show at one point and some other stuff, but it hasn't quite. It might not until I make my next one. My next film I'm going to do with a decent budget. It's called Crazy Eddie. And I think what I'd like to do is I want to be like Castro, come out of the mountains down to Havana and take that shit over again. I love LA. And I think that there's people want good work and they want work from real filmmakers and real human beings I'm the punk rock filmmaker. I'm anti-tyranny.
Right.
I'm pro human flourishing. And so a lot of people are going to desert once I can get maybe another one done. Probably, I suspect it'll be the next one because it'll be a lot bigger budget, hopefully. And by the way, I'm a big fan of using people I know, so we can find somewhere for you guys in the film. I don't know if you guys if you're interested. I'm not assuming that.
Yeah, we're both actors. And
I didn't know that, so yeah. Well, I'm all about using friends and different things.
So Sam came here. Triple, you know Sam, Union of Being Wanted. He's out in L.A. too. I opened for him at the show he did here. I do a subscriber only show with Sam, and that's why I'm happy to talk to you. Is because you're right. It needs to be taken back. It needs to not. So Hollywood and filmmaking and everything has become propaganda with entertainment. You got Colbert with the dancing needles that he did.
I don't give a flying fuck what those people think. That's what my advice. I do not give a fuck.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
That's so key.
I don't care. I'm going to do what I need to do, and you know what? You start fucking with me, I'll make a Jamaican bobsled team movie with fucking all white Norwegians. I'll do it too. Yeah, fuck you. Don't fuck with me.
Is what they
do. You know in Final Draft, because I'm writing Crazy Eddie right now, and in there you can it'll go through and count the races to make sure you have the right amount of races in the film.
It does equality for you
just to make sure there's inclusivity. So you have to. That's insane.
Oh my god!
I don't think you can actually get nominated for an Oscar now if you don't have a certain amount of race.
It probably reports you. Final Draft probably reports you if you don't.
Isn't that the opposite of what MLK said? Like we should be judged on the content of our character
and the gender of our crotch.
Yeah.
So like we're only hiring people because of their skin color.
It's insane.
Now,
I think about a character and then I think about who they are, and that's who they're going to be. I don't care about your stupid rules. I don't care what you have to say. I'm going to do my thing, and if I fail at it, then I'll fail at it. But I'm not, that's my advice. And the second piece of advice is don't fucking vote. Don't ever waste your time voting in the first place.
I agree with that. Get out the don't vote is my thought.
It's idiotic to vote. Don't participate in your own enslavement anymore. But anyways, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Film too, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely got that message. That message came through loud and clear. You said something really interesting about how you're pro human flourishing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious, what does human flourishing look like to you?
Freedom, families, kids, not living in a society that's dying from inflation and people can't put their bills together. Anything positive that's humans. It's abundance. Human abundance, human flourishing. Okay. Is that a good answer?
Yeah, no, I was just curious because everyone has sort of a different definition of that. And going back to the race thing, I was curious because I couldn't help but notice everyone in the plantation happened to be black. And I didn't know if that was intentional or if that was just arbitrary.
Is there a reason you didn't cast Elliot Page?
It was a slave plantation.
Right. Okay. So it's just historical accuracy.
We did have an Irish guy in there. I don't know if you noticed him in the beginning. I scream at him. That was Larkin Rose. Actually.
So what? You're right.
I'll whip your Irish monkey ass. You remember that? Yeah.
Well, how many days did it take you guys to shoot that on set?
Principal photography was 17 days.
Okay. And how many locations was it?
2. Basically.
I thought it was just a couple. Yeah.
We had the house and then we had the plantation. And one was in Mississippi and one was in Louisiana, and they were right across the border from each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Natchez, Mississippi is where we shot the plantation. And it's a really interesting little town because apparently when Sherman marched through the South and burned and killed everybody, he didn't take a right. So Natchez never got burned down. So there's all these like plantation houses. So you can go there and like do a tour. There's all these like houses there. It's funny. And it's interesting because we shot the pickups in the summer. And then literally like 2 months later, that plantation house actually shut down. So we would have lost that location. Thank God we shot when we did.
Just in the nick of time. So how long did it take you to shoot the whole thing?
Well, the principal photography was 17 days, and then we went back and shot another like 2 or 3 days for pickups. And then I actually shot, there's a little clip here I shot here, the scene where he shoots the young Smith shoots I don't want to give the film away, but he goes back and it's like a flashback scene. I shot it in my bedroom.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. I mean, I was very impressed. Like the look of the film is gorgeous, and I thought you did a really good job. Let's play this clip here. We've had this up, and
I just did this little mashup, and I thought it was kind of apropos to what
that's
we're talking
Legal
about.
Man right there. So isn't the story that Legal Man? Because I've been on his show a couple times. He's been on mine. He did not. He was kind of one of those. He didn't. He was anonymous until your movie, right?
That's right. He was an anon. Yeah.
Yeah. He's smart as a whip.
I still am actually a paid sub to the Quash.
Right.
And at first I was trying to get this thing cast, and we keep pausing this video, sorry, but it was during the COVID horse shit. So like I had the thing kind of cast, and then I was going to do as a low SAG ultra low budget, right? Because the SAG owns the actors. And I got a call from the union guy, and he's like, "Do you have your COVID apparatchik?" Well, I don't remember what the title of the guy was. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, everybody has to get tested every day. Everybody's got to wear masks on set. I'm like, I'm not directing in a mask. Yeah. And then I'm like, and if somebody tests positive with that, everybody knows that test was horseshit. It wasn't a test, but that's another conversation. You shut down for 14 days.
Yeah.
The guy's got to leave set for 4. Well, the guy's got to leave set. So if you're in Hollywood, no problem. I got a roster. I'm paying you, $5,000 a day, $10,000 a day, whatever it is. Bring them in. If we shut down, we lose a guy. It's over. The film's done. So that wasn't even an option. So I had to go back to the drawing board.
Independent then, not you were non-SAG.
Non-SAG, although there are union actors in there. So that's when I went back to the drawing board, and I was listening to Legal Man's podcast one day, driving home, and it was one of these rants because he was ranting during the COVID stuff.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And I was like, "Whoa!" And just hit my head. I'm like, "Legal Man, play Mr. Jones. He knows the guy. He's a lawyer, so I know he can act."
Yeah.
So, so then one thing led to another. I wrote him on his paid thing. I was like, "Hey, I want to talk to you about something," and he didn't respond. I thought, "Oh, he probably thinks I'm a Fed." So then I wrote him and explained the project, and he contacted me back, and then I met him in Dallas. We had lunch. It was like a 5-hour lunch, and now we're buddies. And the rest is history.
Very cool.
I don't know why.
In Barnum World too. He was the main character in Barnum.
Yeah, he plays Natty in Barnum World. He's got a part in. He plays my older brother, or Crazy Eddie's older brother in Crazy Eddie, as well. He'll play that.
That's funny. He's a lawyer because I definitely got some lawyer vibes when I was watching it.
Really?
He's really smart.
So I'm curious, how did you raise the money for this? Where did that come from?
It was this film was all Indiegogo.
Okay.
We did it crowdfunding, and then some people kicked in chunks, and then I was literally like playing Roblox with my daughter, and I heard like, somebody gave us a Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Really?
And I had to sell it, unfortunately, but that saved us, man. Because by the time I sold it, it was like $50,000. It was only $15,000 when they gave it to us, and by the time we went into production, it was like $55,000 or something.
That's crazy.
It saved our ass, man. Yeah, Jeff Berwick gave us a couple chunks of money, and then we had another guy who gave me a bunch of chunks of money. He's an anonymous guy, but he came to set actually, met everyone, and then he gave us more money. And it's just one of those things. People just,
was he someone who he believed in the message?
That's right. Yeah. I don't want to give his name away because I think he wants to stay anonymous.
So what kind of, you guys, I did watch, it was, it's like a 20-minute video with you and Larkin from a few years back where you were talking about how he said that you came to him after seeing the animated film and
that's right.
the book, and you presented it to him. What did you go to like Jeff and maybe this anonymous center and give them a pitch, or did you start with Indiegogo?
Indiegogo.
Okay.
And then they found out about it. And then Berwick, what he did was big. I learned that Indiegogo, and I think they changed this actually, but Indiegogo, if you clear your hurdle that you have set, the amount of money, then you can keep getting money. I didn't know that, so we did a second campaign because I did a big ask, and then we got like enough to do the project, but we didn't get enough to clear it. So we did a post-production campaign. And then he dropped a big chunk of cash like the last day, so we cleared the hurdle. And then we got a lot of money after that because the campaign was still open, which was huge. So people should know that if they ever do
That's great. And if you read that, you can still see the Indiegogo. It's still online, so you can see the way you described it. And it's I was talking about my friends earlier who are locked into this Hollywood model that they're, and then privately telling me that they hate Hollywood. You know, that it's inspiring to see someone put a message out there and have people who they go, oh, that they share my values, they share my beliefs, and then respond to it and support it. I found similar support on my show. When you ask, I don't ask for a lot, but every now and then I'll ask for donation to help support it, and people always rally to do it because the people are tired, I think, of just being like looked down upon, or they're tired. This stuff in Hollywood is so bad to me right now. I love movies, I love TV shows, but it's been so long since I've been like, unless Nick Cage is in it and he's being ridiculous, and then I might like it. But
well, it's like how many lies you have to swallow. At some point, you have to swallow a lie. It's like, oh, I got to swallow this bullshit now. Like, you know, the girl knocks the guy out, or there's a tranny.
Yeah,
or
the tiny girl.
It's always some shit that I know, okay, they're lying to me right now. This is propaganda.
Yeah, it's all some political messaging. I feel like movies were better in the 90s because the stories were simple. They were about relationships. And there wasn't all this propaganda in the films in the 90s. And the way movies were made, they, at least to me, I feel like they drew me in more emotionally. They like tugged at my heartstrings more. Nowadays, it's just like every film seems like it's designed to make you feel disempowered or make you feel disturbed. Anxious. No movie that I've seen recently, other than yours, makes you feel like maybe we should question authority, or maybe we should question our assumptions about authority.
That's right. So that's the big one there. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
So I appreciate that about your movie.
I appreciate
I like
you
to play a
appreciating
drinking game where I'm like, how long till the lesbian shows up? Or like it's just like, and they try to hammer that home and normalize some of that. And not that there's not actual people who feel a certain way, but when it's just hammered home every time, and that's the message, it's clearly political propaganda. Edward Bernays wrote in his book over 100 years ago, he was talking about the rise of film and cinema. And I'm not gonna get the quote exactly right, but he said something like, well, because he always talked like he was about to jerk a kid off. I gotta be honest with you. He's like, it's titillating, and it's just gross. If you watch some of his videos, he's disgusting. And he's like, it's cinema, the rise of cinema. It's going to be like if you whisper in the ear of one person, you're going to speak to an entire world. And he would talk about how the people controlling everything they're not the ones you see. They're the ones whispering in the ears of these people who are turning the cameras on and directing things. And then there's a book called Channels of Propaganda. It's from like the 80s. It was written by his professor. I can't remember where. But he talks about all these channels of propaganda, and he documents all of these contracts the government had and the CIA had with Hollywood to push.
Too. Yeah.
You guys talk like it's just like it's anything that's going to capture people's imagination and influence them. There's going to be an attempt to co-opt it and push messaging in there, which is why we need more movies like the one you did. The ones you've done a lot of movies, but
I've done 4 feature films, technically.
Yeah. I watched some of your older movies too, from like back in the day. I can't. What was one of them called? One of them was funny. I was watching. I don't know. It had a bunch of people I knew in it. That's why. It was from
you talking about the documentary Lord of the Freaks?
Lord of the Freaks. Yeah.
Yeah, I did that. That was a different person back then.
Was in Lord
what
of the
is
Freaks.
Lord of the Freaks about? Now I'm curious.
I haven't. That was a different human being at that point in time
Lord
in my
of the
life.
Freaks.
What woke you up?
My daughter. Because when I had her, I was like, I have one kid, thank God. But I had her, and I was just like, literally like I had her actually in Cedar Sinai, right down there in Beverly Hills. And I'm looking out, and we had this room and looking out in the mountain, and LA's really nice. I mean, just in the wrong hands right now. But it's been a ruin. But I just was like, what the fuck have I been doing? Why don't I have 10 of these? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I started to reverse engineer my life and realized I've been duped because I never wanted to have kids. I didn't want to have kids. I was like, it's just all that horse shit about it's going to ruin your life and all this nonsense. And then you have, and you're like, this is the reason I'm here. Yeah. What have I been doing with my life? You know what I mean? And that was really when I started, looking into things. And that was it. But that point, but that film, Lord of the Freaks, that was a big moment for me because that screened at the Egyptian Theater. It was like a big red carpet thing, and I got into filmmaking later in life. I didn't even start doing this until my 30s. So then I was at the screening, and this is it. I thought I made it, And it was it was a great time, and I was really grateful and everything. But I was just like, this isn't really what I want to do, So there was kind of like a reverse engineering that, and I kind of took off for 3 years, and then when I came back, and I just made a decision, I'm going to do what I want to do, because I was literally working as a forklift operator in a warehouse for 3 years. I took a break, and I just read a bunch of books, and I realized at some point I'm like, this kind of sucks, but I'm a really good forklift operator, and I could do this and pay the bills and put food on the table, and it's not that bad. So I think I'm going to do what I want to do and come and just burn the boats, as they say. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And literally, like, something came up. Like a couple weeks later, a client called me out of the blue. It was like a $10,000 job. Got the money, bought a bunch of cameras, went to Mexico, borrowed some money from somebody. Because I was working, I was hand to mouth, and that's when I met Larkin, and then the whole thing started. And here I am. So it's interesting. You got to make a decision. Once you make it. Yeah, sorry. I didn't
That's right. So. That right there. Say that again. Once you make a decision.
Make a fucking decision. You remember that great monologue that Alec Baldwin does in Glengarry Glen Ross? Whatever you think of him. That monologue he does in Glengarry Glen Ross. I watched that. It's incredible, right?
It's so good. Yes.
He goes, have you made your decision, for Christ? Because he's talking to the sales guys. Like, once you make a decision, you've made a decision. I had a friend of mine who worked in the studio. I used to be a post super in L.A., this studio in Beverly Hills that isn't there anymore. And his brother was Jackie Green, who's a pretty well-known singer. And he tours around and stuff. And I think he played guitar for Black Crowes or something. But he told me, he said, how did you make it? He said, I just had no backup plan. He's like, there's no backup plan. And that was because I always had a backup plan. You know what I mean? And that's a mistake.
Right. It's full commitment.
Fuck the backup plan. Yeah.
Right.
Burn the boats, as they say.
And it's I think that's a great message because it is.
It's risky, but so what?
When you're fully committed to it, then you stop thinking about, well, what if this fails? What if this?
Right. There's no fail.
Thinking about what do I need to do to make this work.
That's
exactly.
right.
There's no other option. When you have a backup plan, it's easier not to put your all into something, because if you put
that's why you're doing it.
If you put all your eggs in one basket, that takes courage, because
you're committed. I mean, you have to do it. It's just like, think about junkies, heroin junkies. They're completely broke. They're running around the streets. They have to get heroin, and they always get heroin. I mean, they've made a decision. They have no choice. They got to get heroin. It's kind of like that.
That's
it's like
true.
when you put your mind to it and you got to get it, you got to do it, it's going to get done. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you have a backup plan, I might not do this. You're not serious. You're not serious about it.
I think it's like that first time that people do something that is outside of what they learned their entire life that they're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. I think that's a very freeing thing. Mm-hmm. Like, instead of just applying for a job and trying to check all the boxes and maybe you don't qualify, so maybe you're just highlighting how you're not as qualified as the other candidates if you do it that way. Mm-hmm. If instead you find the person, the decision maker, and you walk into the office and you do something creative that's relative to that, maybe you get thrown out and arrested, or maybe they say that's the most intriguing thing that's happened today. And, it opens your mind to realizing that being the same is at best going to lead to mediocrity. At worst, especially right now, you're going to go broke trying to be exactly like everyone else. You're going to blend in. But if you use what you have, and not to just be wacky and weird to be weird, but like, what do you have? What can you do? And how can you help?
Yeah, and not just making a decision and committing to it, but I think it's important to keep an open mind, the pathways to achieving the goal. Because sometimes we're told, like you were saying, there's only one pathway to achieving the goal. For instance, if you want to be an actor, you don't have to just let Hollywood tell you what to do. There are other avenues you can go if that is your goal. And that's just one example. Whatever you want to do in life, there's so many different pathways to get there, and you might be surprised by how many people you might meet along the way that want to help. And so I think it's good to keep an open mind of the various ways to get the thing that you want.
Wow, you were a very wise young lady. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut. I'm serious. That's a second big piece of wisdom you've dropped today. That's exactly right.
That's the second? Wait, what was
the first one was the, you said, what did you say earlier? You said, when you think you're 100% sure about something, you got to stop and rethink and make sure that you're not wrong.
I said that, this is just how I operate in the world. Whenever I find myself feeling very certain about something, that's when I stop and ask questions.
That's a much better way to say it than I just said.
I mean, that's exactly because the propagandists, they want to bait you into making these. Now, you should commit to things, but like thinking through them is wise, and making sure you're not getting baited, especially when you feel really hot emotionally, which is what all this stuff is designed to do. And it drives me crazy. And so I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I love my alternative community, everybody, like Union of the Unwanted. All those guys are so great. I love them. Online on X, I feel like people are being baited because they want to swing trust back to the mainstream, because the alternative community, media community, won trust during COVID. And the World Economic Forum has been doing a program to win back trust in all these different arenas for years. That's why you see Chris Cuomo and Alex Acosta all going in their basement and pretending to be authentic. You got 15 people behind it. They're trying to be like us, because they're trying to win back trust. And I feel like they're throwing this shit out there, and they're putting people with big personalities out there that say things people like. But in my opinion, the best way to be a conspiracy theorist is whatever inclination that's the most easy to jump to about any story or any situation. You have to aggressively attack your own theory, harder than they ever would.
Yeah, play your own devil's advocate.
Yeah,
and that helps you understand things with a broader perspective.
It fights confirmation bias.
That's why
I am guilty of not doing that too. Not to cut you off. Sorry.
It's so easy to find reasons to support what we believe, and it feels so good to do that.
Yeah,
but like,
what are you gonna say? I cut you off. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm going on.
I cut her off.
Soapbox. You can cut me. We both cut you off.
Yeah, what were you gonna say?
Okay. I think I was just going to say that when you play your own devil's advocate, that helps broaden your perspective on everything. And that's why I always welcome criticism. Like I think I asked you earlier what about your feedback. I was curious, like, what criticisms you've got from the film, because as a filmmaker, I always want to hear criticism because that just helps me grow. Without criticism, we don't grow, we don't evolve, we don't become better filmmakers. So I can be very self-critical of my own art, but I also welcome that when it comes to, and the thing is you're always going to have some criticism because you can't please everyone.
If you put yourself out there, there's people that are going to hate you. But the thing is that for me, it's really in post-production when I'm making it. I've gotten good at that. When I first started doing this, I just never had anything to do with filmmaking. It's a long story, but I was not good at that because I had to just recreate. I had too much ego with it. I didn't understand it. You know what I mean? And I learned my lesson. And now when I want people I have people that critique my stuff. I know people that I can trust that are going to tell me what's up. And if there's a bunch of different people saying the same thing, then I go, okay, I got to make sure maybe I got to cut this scene differently or something. You know what I mean? Like I listen because I've made that mistake before, and I also was very prideful. And it's a collaborative art form. Obviously, you need a lot of people, and I used to care about credits all the time and stuff like that. I don't do that shit anymore. I don't care. I mean, I just don't want people stealing my stuff. But and then when you're directing, nobody cares who the photographer was. You know what I mean? Nobody cares who the editor was. They want to who directed this piece of shit. You know what I mean? So your ass is on the line, so you better take charge. But anyway, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
No, I totally relate, because it can be really tough as a filmmaker when you have this message that means a lot to you and you really want to communicate it in the most effective way possible. And when it feels like people aren't receiving that message well, it can be tough. But
you want to kill yourself.
Always and it's also hard. I mean, you mentioned the ego, and it is difficult to remove your ego from your art sometimes, especially when it's a message you feel really passionate about. You start feeling very personally, emotionally invested. So reminding ourselves that the movie isn't about us and our ego, but the movie is about something more than that. It's the sum of its parts. It's the message. It's the audience. And I like working with filmmakers that care more about the audience than care about, their ego and how it's going to make them look or whatever.
Or like the big tough guy directors that run around like they're big tough guy directors. Is like, get the hell out of here, dude. I mean, I'm not like
I've
that.
had enough of those.
Yeah, just like, you got to be worried, because I'm very careful when we shoot. If anybody's like, oh, this is going to be really good, I'm like, shut up. One scene does not make a film. Shut up.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't be jinxing me. We'll see how good it is, But yeah, I mean, everybody, like when you're on set, everybody you got to deal with a little differently too. Some people actually like being yelled at, like it helps them. You know what I mean? Some people don't.
That's true.
Yeah. But where did you? Are you always on the show together? You two? This is a good co-host you got here, Brad. She's a very wise lady.
Kim's a fan favorite for sure. She's been on a number of shows with me.
Okay.
And so we're not.
You guys a couple?
Together, but no.
No. Okay.
He wishes.
Does he? Does he? Okay.
We just interviewed a lot of people at the World Cup.
We're a couple of
retards.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm right there with you.
Jesus.
Jinx. I knew that's what you were gonna say, so I just beat you to it.
No, so Kim, I know Kim she brings all the boys to the stream.
Oh
so
boy.
he just uses me to help him get attention.
Her milkshake works, huh?
Yeah. No, so we met like towards the end of the year, and she like I said, a lot of people they're very private about what they want to do with acting and stuff, and they try and placate all this stuff. And like one of my buddies, he's like a huge Republican, MAGA Republican, but like he's being pulled around by a production that half the production turned trans in the past year. Like literally over half of the people in the crew and actor, they turned trans, and it's just
boy.
And he just, just like, dude, just do what you want. But there's a fear of, and so meeting Kim and getting to talk, she was very open about how she's her frustrations with the news and the media and stuff, and so that's why we started doing the shows together.
Yeah, I started creating these little news parodies called Totally Unbiased News, where I'm making fun of news stations that pretend to be unbiased, but everyone has some sort of bias. So I started creating these little parody videos, and then I noticed it sort of related to some stuff he was doing. So,
okay.
She's very racist.
No.
Is she?
Yeah, I'm very racist against.
Damn,
against
she's like
people
another reason.
who are
That's the reason probably why you like her so much, huh, Brad?
The only people I'm racist against are the racists.
Yeah, we do a lot of interviews too. We'll go interview people, and just kind of like went to the World Cup and here.
Oh, you did?
And, yeah, and we
like man on the street stuff.
Yeah, man on the street, and we would ask them. We pretended that they were celebrating Pride. Because Pride Month in June, and in Atlanta, it's the gayest place ever. So we were acting like these people were gay people, and they were just very confused. The questions we asked them.
Yeah, I would go up to somebody who is clearly like a white man. I would be like, as a black woman living in Atlanta, how do you feel about Pride?
Yeah.
Just kind of off the wall stuff.
What was funny is that some of them would catch it, but some of them just weren't listening. And she'd ask that, and they go, "It feels really great, man, just out here celebrating the game."
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, because they weren't actually listening to the question.
No, they just feel like they need to perform.
Funny.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, it's wild. We would just set up a tripod in the FIFA Fan Fest and just see if the bigger the tripod, the more people showed up. Just trying to scream behind the camera.
Yeah, and I've actually played a reporter on TV and stuff before, so I have a lot of experience acting like a reporter. So people believed when they asked us who we were making fun of Fox News. And we were asking silly questions that Fox News asked.
Because Fox News like, hey, we got a British person driving on the wrong side of the street and eating ranch dressing. This is so great. I'm Peter Ducey. It's just like the stupidest shit.
Yeah.
And they did all this shit. It's like North Korean propaganda to show that the country is actually something it's not. Like Atlanta, they cleaned up the city like they haven't done in 30 years. They put all the homeless people in shipping containers. They're gone. And they segmented off this. They filled the potholes. And you're asking people, what's most memorable? They're like, Atlanta's the cleanest fucking city in the world. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. No, it's not.
You saw what Newsom did to California when the Chinese guy came?
He molested the Chinese kid, and he got all those homeless people off the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just like cleaned it up like that. That's why people hate, and they put so much propaganda against whatever you think of him. The guy down in El Salvador. I went to El Salvador and toured the whole country.
Or the Bitcoin guy.
Because he literally cleaned it up like he showed the world it can be done. It's not that hard to do. And he had it real bad. I mean, he had it real bad. He had these cartels were running the country, and when he got in, they started just randomly shooting people on the streets, just to cause chaos. And there was like a day where they shot like 80 people, and just rolling up on anybody. Boom! But she's literally laughing. Maybe you're the psychopath.
Well, because it makes me think that the people we interviewed, they'd be like, "I'm from Congo," and we'd be like, "Do you have running water and toilet paper?"
Yeah.
We'd be like, "Do I have toilet paper?"
Yeah.
Do you guys? Have you guys ever? Is it weird having indoor plumbing?
But that's how Fox News treats some of the guests. So we were sort of making fun of, and they believe that we were from Fox News.
She did ask them Costa Ricans to dance like a monkey to show her what a monkey dancing looks like.
Well, there's a lot of monkeys in
Atlanta.
Costa Rica. No, it's true. There's a lot of monkeys in Costa Rica.
Damn, that's cold.
No.
There are a lot of monkeys in Costa Rica.
It's not appropriate here, and then walked off.
But I was dancing like a monkey. I'm like, if I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, we went to the Libertarian Convention also, and we did some of those man on the street stuff, and I've been going to those for a while. I moderated the Libertarian debate here in 2024, the presidential debate, and my buddy, he's a Trump impersonator, and I had him come in and interrupt the debate and call out Chase Oliver and challenge people and stuff, and so we met Charlie in person, Charlie Robinson, who's in your he does questioning.
Okay, Charlie, it's a good buddy of mine.
At the Third Eye Carnival in Tennessee last year.
Oh, I'm going to that in the fall. You guys going to go?
Yeah, I'm going to go. When is the date? I think they told me September is going to be this time.
Something like that. Yeah, it's in the fall.
Yeah.
Steve's a good buddy. You've been on the stream. We've done the UFC stream.
Yeah, I love those guys. It was such a fun event, and the lightning coming in, and Sam Tripoli was on stage, and lightning was hitting the bar. It was crazy, and so I opened for Sam, and I did 7 minutes, and then I brought my friend as a Trump impersonator on, and we messed around a little bit. And
so you're a stand-up?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, and everybody it was fun. So the in-person stuff, getting to meet people who you've talked to and communicated online for so long,
right?
In person, it's to me, it's transformative.
That's right. I think that's a big thing coming to in real life. With this AI shit, I think the real life stuff is going to make a big comeback. It's funny. I had this weird vision at some point. I want to do you remember when they used to do, I don't know if you guys remember this, you might be too young, but they used to do live theater on television. So they would air
Yes, I do.
Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And
I really hope live theater doesn't become a dying art. I'm curious, what do you think about all this AI stuff? They're making an AI movie,
Tilly Norwood, whatever her name is, they keep advertising that actress.
Yeah, what do you think about AI and how it's going to affect filmmakers? Does it make you nervous? Do you like it? Do you?
I could be wrong. I don't think that it's going to take over. I mean, it's being used, the tools that it offers. It's part of it's all about surveillance and control. Yeah. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Yeah. But there are some things that are disconcerting about it for sure. I just think that when you're talking about, it doesn't have a soul. So I don't know that they're going to be able to pull off the the films. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you can tell it's AI, but that I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
So that's what I wonder too, because most of the stuff that people say is groundbreaking AI, and they'll play the video, and it's like this is terrible.
And I think what moves us when we're watching a movie is authenticity, is the humanity in someone's eyes. Not like AI imitate. Like AI is never going to move me emotionally.
And when they're going to know everybody's going to know it's AI, and then it's not going to work, right?
Right.
And that's what we were talking about, I think, before we got on the show, that Gen Z is really based. And then Gen Alpha is like, I think they're going to be the ones that are going to have to like rebuild what's about to collapse here. And they are not down with this shit. They're not down. And go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You're right. They're not. They think it's stupid. And I agree with them that it's stupid. It's like the babies now, the children now, though. If there was a story about how like 95% of the videos that show up for the kids that are watching TikTok, and parents want their kids to shut up the babies and they just show them videos on screens, and it's TikTok, and 95% of them are AI. And so these kids will grow up thinking that AI is real. And so there won't be a differentiation. So that's where that needs to be cut off right there.
Well, I think we're going to have secession, massive secession in America in the
really
2030s. Yeah, like from the top down. I think that the mandate for the regime is uncoiling. I think we're going to have, it's going to break apart in the early 2030s in some way. What that looks like, how that'll be, I don't know, but I think that's going to be a big change.
What will the dividing lines be, you think?
I mean, I think it'll be states to start, but I think a lot of states are going to break up too. Like East and West Oregon have no business in the same government.
Right.
Northern, Southern California have no business in the same government. Mississippi and California have no business in the same government. There'll be, I mean, I'm guessing here, I have no idea, but I think there'll be federations of states. But I mean, there's still going to be, people will say this to me, I can't wait, but people will say it was so dangerous. It's like, dude, it's way more dangerous having Washington, D.C. because you can just, like, well, China's going to invade. Is China going to invade 50 countries? All they got to do is buy politicians in D.C., like Israel has, you know?
Yeah.
Once they lose that, it's easy. But if you have if it's broken up and you can get with your actual countrymen, I think there'll be a lot more freedom. That's my prediction of it. Legal Man thinks I'm crazy. We have a $1 bet.
What does he think? So what's
no way. We're in the digital prison and we're all going to die. He's cyanide pill.
He's like he delivers black pill messages in a funny way.
He calls himself cyanide pilled.
Yeah.
He's cyanide pilled. We're all going to the digital prison and we're all going to be either killed or, enslaved. There's no chance.
Oh gosh.
No chance. Yeah, that's his whole thing.
Yeah, so going back to the overall message of your movie. So you're saying how, okay, there might be some societal collapse and sometimes destruction is actually leads to more creation and it might lead to more freedom. So if centralized government isn't the answer, what do you think is an ideal society?
Ideally? Well, I mean, logistically and morally, you would say anarchy, but that's not possible because human beings are just not humanly capable at this point to have a voluntarist bottom-up society. So it's not. So I'll do what I can, I mean, that would be the best to have a bottom-up society, but I mean, there's just people are just not totally incapable of doing that.
Do you think government will naturally form? Like, if anarchy was the way right now, do you think?
Yeah, as we are, of course, 100%. Yeah. Because people just are not. People don't want freedom. I mean, that's what I learned in I try to do what I can to bring human flourishing and freedom through my films, and hopefully, most importantly, entertainment and engagement. That's really the number one thing for me. But I'm a realist about this situation. I mean, I'm a very, very, very small minority of us could actually live like that, and even could we even, so I'm a realist about that. There's always gonna be bad actors. I'm a big believer in the elite theory where there's just a small group of people are always kind of in charge. And
it only takes, people with a focus and resources and directed action.
That's right.
You're right. Most people want the answers to be given to them, because it's easier that way.
Go to a Walmart in a poor neighborhood and tell me any of those people. You say, oh, you're going to be completely in charge of your own life now. Yeah, good luck with that.
Right.
There's no more welfare, nothing. You're in 100% managing your own life for yourself from now on. Let's see how that goes.
Some libertarians will advocate for is cut it off clean. And it's I mean, I understand the theory of it, but you're right. It's the chaos that would ensue in some of this stuff.
Yeah, that was another message I heard loud and clear in the movie, is that some people, or a lot of people, want to be told what to do because with great freedom comes great responsibility.
That's
right.
right.
Do you think that's why? Why do you think people like being told what to do? Because people are lazy? Or I don't want the responsibility. People are afraid of the responsibility.
Apparently, people don't mature past like 12. Apparently, so they want mommy's the Democrat side and daddy is the Republican side. Daddy's going to keep you safe and keep all the bad people away, and mommy's going to take care of you and wet your bubbling lips with food and milk, and that's just the way people are. They just can't That's why if we have a breakup and you want something real to happen, we have to start thinking about the very best I could say about this particular system we have right now is that it's like the typewriter. It's so archaic and stupid and old. But then again, I don't know what we got to start talking about how we're going to organize ourselves if we're ever going to get out of this mess. Because the anarchists, most of them, the anarchists I know, they couldn't live in anarchy. They're just like children.
Yeah. Well, you're right. So there's a lot of people share those beliefs, but because we're so removed from nature, like old Uncle Ted wanted us to live in nature, we're so removed from it, and we've become so reliant on this technology that without it, people they get thrown into a fit of anxiety. They don't know how to survive off of it.
We could have the technology and live in a voluntary society if people were capable of it. We don't need to throw away our technology.
It's all about that willingness to not. It's all, even though people distrust government, that there's still this psychological, emotional tie to it as the ultimate authority, and uncertainty of anything other than that. That
right.
We don't like you. You abuse us, but it's an abusive relationship. Is what
That's exactly
they
right.
cannot get out of.
That's right.
So a lot of people. So people listen to my show. So every now and then I'll get a message, and people will be very black-pilled. And I'm not a black pill guy. I think that having hope is like the first act of resistance, because the whole idea of demoralization is to prevent people from having hope. So have hope, find reasons to have hope that you can connect to, and that is resistance. That's where you start. But people will message me, and they'll be like, how do we take down this, like every elite? How do we take down the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab? And I'm like, well, that's a tall task to think about that. But what you can accomplish, because it's not that, what are you going to do, is to focus your attention on what you can do today in front of you, what you can develop. And once you start doing those things, because the reasons they draw your attention away is because they don't want you doing the things you can do. And I really think it is tough to get people off screens, and I know that I rely on it for my show and my job, but the more people can separate from what is distant and creates anxiety and fear, and the more they can channel that attention on cultivating what they have and what's around them and having an impact there, then the more powerful people are. That's why local elections, even though I'm anti-voting, if you want to vote or you want to run for office, do it locally. There's like a lot of power there, and that's where they send the communists to come in to take over.
That's right. You're right. No, you're not wrong about that. You can do things locally. Like the people. I live in this little like cowboy town that's north of Phoenix, and the local elections are really important. Like we don't have taxes here, and we don't have a police force here, which is great.
Really?
Right. We have sheriffs that come around because there's a really good bar scene here. In fact, in Barnum World, that rodeo scene is in my town. And but it's very free here. There's like a gun shop in every corner, and but like local elections are huge. If we get some dipshit in there, some bad actor in there, it could really screw things up. Not just for the rules, but also like the aesthetic of the place. It says somebody's screwing up the aesthetic by allowing all these like new construction, and it's really starting to piss me off. I have a long-term plan to become mayor here.
Really?
Yeah. Now you can make it. You can make a difference locally. I agree with you. The system sucks, but here we are.
Yeah, I think that's really key. Focusing on what you can control, like local elections, and also taking time to get still and really think about what you want and what you need. Because a lot of propaganda is convincing us that we need all these things that we don't really need. That we want all these things that we don't necessarily really want. It's just like the media telling us. A lot of our desires are pre-programmed. It's all propaganda. So I think the more we spend sitting still and getting really clear and specific about what we want, what we need, and the more we focus on what we can control, the more we'll start trusting ourselves. Because I think a lot of people are scared of taking any type of leadership roles because they don't trust themselves, and it's a lot easier to have people tell them what to do. But when you start focusing and taking practical steps towards what you can control, you start building that self-trust and that self-awareness. And I think that's where it starts anyway.
Right. It starts with that awareness, too, of the system and the way it works, like you exposed through your films, Jonestown.
Well, that's the first step. Understand the situation that you're in. It sucks, sure, but at least we use this analogy all the time, but if you're in a town and you see like a mafia is in town, they're killing people and burying them in the graveyard, right? They're burying them like in the woods. So you go to the police and tell, hey, the mob's been killing people and burying them in the woods. Well, it turns out the cops are in the mob too.
Cops are in on it.
You're going to end up in the woods. So now you know the cops and the whole place is corrupt and they're running and they're killing people and throwing them in the woods. Well, now you know. So you keep your mouth shut and you can operate in a way where you're living and you understand what's going on around you and you're in less danger.
It's true. It makes me think of The Big Con. Have you ever read the book The Big Con?
No.
I highly recommend it on my show. It's about, so this guy, the writer who originally documented it, he went around with this roving band of con artists like back in the late 1800s, and he created the dictionary for all the types of different cons that we see in a lot of movies nowadays. And you read through it and you realize that like they would go to these towns and they would take over these towns and they would target one really rich person who was just dumb to everything, and they would draw him into that town, bring him into what this guy believed to be a horse racing event, but the entire thing was fake. They would rent out the space, fill actors with it. The police and the politicians in the town would be involved, literally everybody involved, because they knew they were going to swindle this one guy. The guy would show up, and it looks like there's action going on. Looks like he's going to win some shit. And they make him think he's going to win. Then he loses a bunch of stuff, and then he's gone. But the guy leaves thinking that he just lost, not realizing that the politicians and the police in that town were in on it and that the whole thing was staged for him. And then they tell the other roving bands of con artists that that's an easy mark because he thinks he's too smart and doesn't ask a lot of questions. And the parallel that I draw to that is that's how most politicians who sustain a career in politics are going to be, willing to do that kind of thing. And they see not necessarily the wealthy people, they see everyone as a mark. Everyone who continues to vote for them. Even after they've been lied to.
You get to live. You don't have to obey the law. You don't have to work. Okay. I always hear, the president working so hard. He's not working. He doesn't do shit. He shows up, flies a killer plane. He shows up to a news conference, bullshits a little bit. I mean, but these guys don't have to work. They don't have to break. They can break the law. And I was listening to Tucker Carlson, whatever you think of him, and he's basically said that pretty much all of Washington, D.C. is degenerate homosexuals. I don't know
if they are, man. How does
and they're
Lindsey Graham
pedophiles.
stay in power?
They're all pedophiles. Yeah. And so he said it's especially Republicans. All these he's like a lot of them have fake families and fake wives and I believe in freedom and all this other horse shit, and the job's too good and they're con men, like you said.
And they use those same terms: liberty, democracy, fighting for freedom. This you highlighted in your film, "Make America Great Again," was not Trump's idea.
Right.
I mean, that's been used
No,
forever.
Clinton said that, and so did Reagan. Yeah, Clinton said it. We're going to make America great again. Yeah.
So I love the other film, the Barnum World. He cut all these clips together, and he just showed how all these glittering generality terms that mean nothing have been used repeatedly
Recycled
over
and over
and
again.
over.
Yeah,
I went back to the
works.
40s.
People fall
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
there's,
that's
like,
the most important election of our
keywords.
lifetime. I went back to the 40s.
Every
Literally,
single one.
it was back. Nixon said it. Truman said it. Roosevelt said it. And he goes all the way up till today to Trump
So it's
saying
just
it.
the speech writers taking the same speech and then just like changing the words a little bit.
It's the most important election of our lifetimes. It's the most important election of our lifetimes. It's so important that you pay attention to this thing. That's why they're constantly throwing all this chaos, because they need attention. They need people to be invested in what they're doing. That's how they run the con on.
That's what they lose their power if people stop, if they lose interest. So that's why they have to be the most controversial and dramatic show on television.
And there's a small group. I don't like Carlson. What was the comedian who said it's a big club and you ain't in it? What was that guy's name?
Oh, Carlin.
Carlin, yeah. I don't agree with him. I think it's a really small club and you ain't in it. I think it's a really small club. Me and Steve Poikonen talked about this. We think it's probably like the size of like a high school football stadium. When you really break it down.
They turn people away when they think they're going to get in.
According to Mark Passio, or who was the guy that wrote Behold the Pale Horse? Whatever you think. I can't remember that guy's name. I always forget his name. Bill something. But according to Mark Passio, there's not a single person in any position of power around the world that isn't deeply involved in the dark occult. And that's what he said in Behold the Pale Horse. He said they literally do shit like they'll show up and say spit on the Bible. And if you don't spit on the Bible, they'll say, oh, good job, good work. And then slam, the ceiling is closed on you, pal, because you're not willing to do what needs to be done, what it takes to do the unthinkable, as they say in Jones Plantation. What were you going to say?
No, I was just curious. What are your theories regarding who or what is at the top? Like, it seems like you think there's definitely some satanic dark forces.
I do, yeah. 100%. 100%.
Do you think
There's
aliens are part of it?
Could be. I don't know if it's aliens or I think it's not. First of all, I have no fucking idea. But my opinion is that it's not aliens, but like demonic forces.
Okay,
I think.
Interesting.
Whether it's self-reflected and actually like a demon, or it's just the dark spirit, dark cult energy. Mm-hmm. I mean, these people, I mean, the stuff that they do is just, normal people don't do this shit. You know what I mean? Normal people cannot live with themselves. They invaded Iran. They blew up a school, killed 150 children. And then they lied about it.
Future
Like,
terrorists is what they would call them.
I just don't understand. We can't fathom that. If I was responsible for killing 150 children in a school, I don't know what I would do. I don't know
crazy,
what I would.
man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would do.
And the fact that they had these quibbling arguments over it.
And they lied. Oh no, that was them. That was them. They did. They
hid
know that
behind
they
those
did it.
kids,
It's
you know.
just. Did they do it on purpose? They say no. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they did. I don't know. They went by twice and bombed it twice. Maybe
What's
they didn't
tough
know.
about all of that is the atrocity propaganda effect. So atrocity propaganda has been utilized for, it's been documented for well over 100 years. There's a whole book called, what's it called? It'll come to me in a second, but it documents all of the atrocity propaganda stories that were used by every country during is either World War I or II.
Oh, you're talking about like the Huns were throwing babies on
Right,
bayonets and all that bullshit.
Yeah, that's right. And this book goes through the stories that each country told.
What do you remember the Iraq War? They had that girl she was the daughter of
incubators. She was.
Yeah, the
hired.
babies
It
in
was
incubators. Yep,
it was a PR company.
that's right.
That wrote the script for her. It was one of the ones Bernays used to work with, and they brought her in, and she read a script, cried, saying that she was a nurse, and the babies got pulled out of incubators, and that's why it's awful what's going on. And that story was used like 40 times by George Bush Sr. to during various speeches to convince Congress to vote for that war. And there was like 12 congressmen who said after the fact that they would not have voted for it if it wasn't for that, which would have prevented the approval from going forward. So a made-up story by Smith and I can't remember the rest of it, but it was the one that promoted the tobacco companies with Edward Bernays back in the day, is what got us into that war, and it all turned out to be bullshit, made up, which is like crazy.
Well, and then obviously the famous weapons of mass destruction, which was a lie. You reminded me of something I forgot now. There was something else that. The October 7th, they said they were putting babies in ovens. Remember that one?
Yeah.
The Israelis were saying they were putting the Hamas was putting babies in ovens. Like, what?
What
are you talking about?
They don't have ovens in the desert.
But for what purpose? Why would they do that? To eat them?
I don't know. I don't know why would they make that, just to make it sound they're so horrible we have to kill them all. Amalek.
Yeah, it's crazy, and so atrocities do happen though. So it's like,
it can be hard to tell what's a real atrocity and what's fabricated.
There you go.
It's hard to know what sources to trust. I mean, there's so much information out there. It's just
Well, they had the Gulf of Tonkin to get into Vietnam. They had everybody knows that Roosevelt knew that they were going to. Not only did he know Japan was going to attack, but they drove them to attack. They wanted Japan to attack. Nobody wanted to go to World War II. I think it was like 90% of the population was against the war until the attack.
It's like everything's a provocation so that everything looks like a response in self-defense. It's like how they operate in modern society.
Boy, you want to get into it, because if you look at World War II, we fought on the side of the Bolsheviks in World War II.
Yeah.
To look like, to me, the whole world lost World War II.
And then everybody gets mad when Putin celebrates, or he like puts a wreath, honoring the lives of them, because now we're supposed to be Russia's enemy. And I remember there's a story recently where he was celebrating. Well, he was like, we were together in World War II, and the news was like, wow, fuck this guy. Yeah. it's just crazy. They try and rewrite this history. I spend every now and then I'll be like, is any of the history that we're told correct? Are we still part of the British Empire? Did we even break free?
There's smart people that think that, by the way. Yeah, there's smart people that think that.
Maybe we haven't.
So, all right, I want to ask you, I want to get, after we play this clip, because I want to share this clip, I want to know your thoughts on the UFO disclosure and the MK Ultra disclosure after we play this and comment on it, because I think we're being bamboozled. All right, there's Legal Man. Is that a real mustache he's got on?
I was wondering the same thing.
He grew
it out.
Wow,
nice.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
He grew it out just for the movie.
And he was mad because we constantly had to push the production back, and he's like, "This fucking thing is."
He's wearing that mustache.
Yeah.
It looks hilarious. It looks real. Like, it didn't look fake.
People are like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
The sacrifices
Plantation
we make
owner.
for our art. We all have to make sacrifices for our art. It's worth it, though.
You two are gonna have a little contest to see who can win the hearts and minds of the human livestock out there.
Are you gonna vote?
Yes. The most important election of our lifetime. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
Pledging our love and loyalty to the Jones Plantation, which stands for prosperity,
Liberty and the pursuit of happiness.
for all.
Well, Smith, I admit your plan appears to be working. What happens when they figure out it's all one big lie?
One lie
We know that Saddam Hussein is determined to keep his weapons of mass destruction.
leads to another,
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon.
and 1,000 more lies.
I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
No more wars, no more wars.
He'd given them an ounce of hope
I believe that together we can make America great again.
and a pound of fear.
Democracy is on the ballot. Your freedom is on the ballot.
And they'll continue to believe every lie until they're dead in the ground. Here, on your plantation. Most people are weak-minded, nothings.
You know a suicide when you see one?
He killed himself. To wield real power, you must be willing to do what most consider unthinkable.
Mr. Smith, what most people consider to be unthinkable is that men like you even exist.
as our greatest advantage.
The next president of the United States.
Fantastic.
Michael Beyond was sweet enough to share that. He's got a big account on Twitter. He's a friend of mine now. He's going to play a bit part in Crazy Eddie, actually. We were talking about that earlier. Do you know who Michael Yon is?
I recognize the name. I might know his face if I saw him.
He's a badass. He's a great American. Anyways.
I mean, that video, it captures the spirit of the film and the manipulation infrastructure. It's just like, I think we all know, like, people get consumed with all the shit we got to take care of and bills and debt and everything. And we're logical and we think things through in moments of peace, which are few and far between sometimes. But as soon as something triggers that tribal instinct, that emotion, it's like everything is out the window. And that is what, like, all that stuff I think is designed to do.
Yeah, tribalism still exists. It just looks sort of different. That clip, it totally echoes what we were talking about earlier, that line. It's really hard for anyone to believe that someone like you exists. Back to what you were saying, people that are good-natured, it's so hard to believe that there would be somebody that evil, like pure evil. Like I don't want to believe that really exists, you know. So I think that's really a powerful message.
Yeah, because you think of evil, you think of like somebody out, some serial killer, which we know is mostly created by the same evil people we're talking about. But
okay, ultra, yeah. You think it'd be obvious? People think they would see it.
But you know, the people that are like so-called public servants, these are. I mean, the same with like the cops. I mean, this is the thing that right wingers have been completely bamboozled with the back the blue thing because they want order. People want order, but they don't understand that you literally have cucked yourself out and given the state. None of this tyranny could go on if it wasn't for the state's armed goons, the government police. None of it.
Dude, yeah.
Nothing in 2020 would have happened if it wasn't for the cops. People are being
that video in Barnum World. I hadn't seen that where that cop shoots that guy in that
oh
hotel
my God.
hallway.
Yeah,
I mean,
and we're always told it's racism, right? Racism because then you're
guy.
focused on the wrong thing. It's
right.
the states having a state armed goons that they protect and serve the system that controls and enslaves you. That is their job. That's what they do, and they'll do anything they're told. Somebody might quit. Somebody might speak out like they did in 2020 and get fired. They'll do whatever they're told. Okay. And so none of this could happen. Nancy Pelosi and all those people, could not have shut your business down. They couldn't have done any of the things they did if it wasn't for the fact that people know there's armed thugs running around that are going to come and arrest you, throw you in prison, throw you in a cage, put you in handcuffs, whatever. None of this shit could go on if it wasn't for them.
Yeah, so the clip from the film that I'm thinking about was, I hadn't seen it before, but it was a police officer. Somebody, I think it was a hotel hallway. Is that what it was? A hotel hallway?
Yeah, he shot that guy. That was in Daniel. What was that kid's name? And he was a white kid.
It was a white kid, and he's just putting his hand. So he's just trying to. They're yelling at him, and he's just trying to put his hands in the right place. And it goes on for, I mean, like maybe almost a minute, and he's like, just don't put your hands behind your back, or I'll fucking shoot you. And then they're saying lay on the ground. He's trying to lay on the ground. And his hand kind of goes this way, one of them, and they shoot him and kill him.
He does. The guy was a complete psycho.
The cop, I mean, it's not. Didn't he like got off or something?
He got off. Not only did he get off, he got a pension.
That's nuts, man.
They fired him for one day and brought him back. I think that's what they did. They had some weird scam where they were able to get him a pension. So he collects like $2,500 or $3,500 a month for the rest of his life.
That's crazy, man.
Wow.
It's crazy. But they gave the guy like contradictory. It's like when you listen to it, you're like, I can't understand what this guy's trying to tell this kid to do.
He murdered the guy because, the kid was trying to listen, but it was confusing.
And there's nothing, any real man, like there is nothing threatening about that kid.
Not at all.
I don't even need a gun.
No. Yeah.
He was
he was.
He had two
20s.
kids.
Yeah.
He had 20. He had two kids.
The guy had two kids who got killed.
He was a father. Yeah, he was a father. They killed him. He had two kids, and he's like crawling along. He's drunk. He's harmless. Like I don't even need a gun.
He's completely.
I don't even need a gun there.
Harmless.
Yeah, it's sick.
I mean, was there a bomb on his back where he's like red? It's just the cop was just like so like ready, so on it. Some people do not need to be police officers, and some people who try and go be police officers. Some of them are good people and measured. But some of them are like they were bullied when they were a kid and they want to get back at people.
They got cop souls. They got cop
Police
souls.
officers should be vetted. There should be more rigorous training. I think.
Yeah, but you're just your mindset is not. You're not understanding the purpose of them. They don't want vetted. Like they want goons.
Right.
Like I don't think.
Right.
I think
It's
you
a
can actually
purposeful-
IQ test out of it. I think you can IQ test out of the police force.
You can't have too high of an IQ.
That's
They want
right.
people
They don't
who
want thinkers.
question the orders they're given. It's like
That's right. They're order taker. They're order followers. They're goons. That's what they want.
Yeah.
They don't. It's not there for you. It's not to protect you and keep you safe. That's not. They do that. That's some window dressing. But the primary purpose is to keep the system moving on. That's their purpose.
It's like it's the arm of the system, the establishment.
States armed goons, man. They're there for the state. They're
There's
money
been
generating.
multiple stories. So this is a little bit of a non sequitur you made me think of. Multiple stories out of Congress of hidden videos in the past 18 months of sitting congressmen having gay sex in their office. Videos that showed up on Snap and then quickly disappeared. And then the poster or the person whose face you could see in the video suddenly getting a promotion across the country at another job. And nobody knows about this.
I thought he'd end up dead. You know, I thought he'd end up dead.
No, maybe they're dead now, but they got promotions in the immediate aftermath. Because I looked into these people, and it was crazy to me. Because I remember when these stories came out, I did a couple shows on them. Because the ones that I'm thinking of happened within like 2 months of each other, and I'm sure there's probably been others. But it was hidden cameras in the walls of congressmen's office, and they're having gay sex with staffers, and the staffers leaked it on Snap and then pulled it off, and somebody grabbed it. I'm talking about the video, not the D. And then that staffer suddenly, you look what happened to the staffer. Oh, well, they just got a promotion and they are now working on the other side of the country. And nobody asks people about it. Nobody goes to that congressman.
There's no fixing a broken system.
Right,
The system
you
is
just
not.
wonder.
It's not broken. The system is not broken. It is working as it's designed to do.
It's the cum stain walls of Congress is what we have here with this disgusting stuff.
Well, I say a lot of these guys are not gay. I think they're actually just sodomites.
Probably.
They're just demons.
They just, they want to just like Peter Thiel probably just likes getting boys and just ramming them and taking.
Disgusting.
It's about power. You know what I mean?
It's not about being gay. It's about power. They're just
Right.
deviants.
They're gay in a way that Panzram was a serial killer and he claimed he raped 1,000 men and he wasn't gay. He just wanted to make people suffer.
Right. He's like, only
Just
fuck
take
dudes,
their
but
manhood
show
from
how
them, take
straight
their
I am,
soul.
you know?
Yeah. What? I'm gonna fuck you in the ass just to show you what a man I am.
I fuck pussy, but I'm gonna fuck your ass to show you what it's like.
Try to shut the fuck up.
It's trying to do that.
That's Peter Thiel.
Dude, Peter
Peter Thiel's boyfriend jumped out the window and killed himself. Imagine that.
Did he really?
He had a boyfriend jumped off the roof of a building or jumped out the window or something.
Dude, you've got the billionaire guy he's pounding you or reverse, and you're gonna jump out the window? That's how bad it is.
I imagine he might have had some help.
Yeah, he was thrown out the window.
Did
Brad.
he really
Yeah,
jump out the window?
I'm just glad he's a Christian who's trying to expose the Antichrist with his lectures.
It's amazing, isn't it? Isn't it amazing? Have you ever seen Duncan Trussell talk about that? He was actually at that speech.
He went to it.
He said they're literally trying to bring the Antichrist out.
Like, manifest him.
Yeah, they want to manifest the Antichrist.
It sounds like a South Park episode.
Do you think the Antichrist is do you think he's going to know he's the Antichrist or he's going to become the Antichrist?
Well, he's going to have to get Peter Thiel off of his asshole.
I think it could be Gavin Newsom. I think Gavin Newsom might be the Antichrist.
Gavin Newsom is the Antichrist.
He might be. He might be
Really?
he might step into that position.
He definitely
He is a
has
really,
all the
really bad actor.
signs.
He's a bad actor,
he
man.
definitely has all the signs of a sociopath. It's funny. I've seen clips of him responding to Trump Like when he doesn't know the cameras are on him and seeing his face, it's pretty funny.
He tried to be like Trump for a little while with his ads. He tried to mimic what Trump does.
He's such a
What does he do with Trump? Does he get nervous or
The way he tries
something?
to be relatable is really, really funny. The way he tries to relate to everyone. Like he's like, oh, I grew up on the streets just like you playing basketball.
Yeah, he's with the basketball players and he's wearing white high tops. And he's like, no, it's so hard for me because my parents they were separated. And it's like Reggie Jackson and Latrell Sprewell, you know, the retired Knicks. And he's like, we used to ball in the streets and shit. It's just like, what the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Well, did you see when he was in front of an audience of like black people and he said, I got a low IQ too, or something?
Yeah,
something
I got a low. No, he scored low on the SAT.
I got a 9.6.
Yeah, just like you guys.
SAT.
And I have dyslexia. I struggle just like
I'm a
you.
retard.
I got dyslexia. I grew up, it was so hard with dyslexia.
Yeah, I did that at stand-up at some black rooms. I did a Gavin Newsom thing as a white guy, and I went up and I had a tie on. And this was the one you went to. It's a different one, but I got up and I was like, "It's okay. I'm a 960 guy like you guys."
I'm just like you.
I don't know anything. I don't know how to spell. I'm like, I just like kept going. I was like, I love watermelon. I love chicken. I love fucking fat white women. I love them. I just kept going.
It's so insulting.
Did they like it?
Like,
yeah, they loved it. Yeah. Because they are insulted by him too. So I asked some of my buddies about it who run these black comedy clubs, and they're like, they don't like Gavin
I would
Newsom.
be too. I would be insulted by. I just want to like punch him in the face. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I'd like to see that.
Maybe that'll happen.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I would love to see that as well if we can make that happen. Drew, we've kept you much longer than you promised, and I apologize for that. So we should get out of here. Okay. Tell everybody again where they can find you and just whatever you want to promote.
Everything's on drewmedia.studio. They can find links. They can go to jonesplantationfilm.com and watch the film, where it's on most of the major platforms, not Netflix. So they can go to watch it at Jones Plantation Film, or go watch it on another platform if you prefer. But they can find all my work. I have that website kind of set up like a link tree right now. So if you just go in the front page, there's links to all my stuff. So,
and I'll put the links and I'll pin the comment on the videos on the various platforms so you guys can find.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Cool. So thank you for giving us so much time. I appreciate it.
Good
It's
times.
a pleasure talking to you. And let's do it again, because there's a lot more I would love to ask you about. I think we have a similar interest, and let's take the world by storm and break people out of the fucking cave.
Let's do it. I'll bring you on. You got to come on my show. I have a show called the Drew Treglia Show. It was called something else, but I'm like, I'm just going to call it my name. But I'll have to get you guys on sometime.
Would love to. And if you're ever in Atlanta, the studio we're at does have a big white wall green screen, and everybody around us are cinematographers, and we got
cool.
Yeah, if you want to film anything in the Atlanta area,
I come back now and again. But I'm gonna probably go to that event, Steve's Third Eye Carnival. So you guys should both go.
I'll for sure be there.
Why is it called the Third Eye Carnival? Because it's supposed to. Oh, so that's speaking my language.
Yes.
So to give them a promote, that was one of my favorite events I've ever been to.
Really?
Really? How many people were there?
It's supposed to be like mind expanding.
I mean, it was packed, man. People were camping everywhere, and this is despite the fact that there was a literal tornado that blew through there at the time. And they're camping out there, and they came from all around the country. One of my friends, he listens to the show, and he listens to Steve's show, drove from Canada to come down. And he gave us all silver coins. As I'm talking about Dee's Laughs, who might be listening right now. It was hundreds of people at least. And I met people who I still communicate with today. I'll go on their shows, or I'll talk to them in the Slack or whatever it is. But it was just everybody was so supportive, and everybody was so nice, and everybody was a real person. There was no bots there, so that was great. But Steve did a great job. T-Love was there. Charlie was there. Pasta was there cooking for everybody. You know Pasta, right?
I know of him. I don't know him.
Yeah, it was a wonderful experience. So if anybody has an opportunity to go, I would recommend going.
Steve's not the best at promoting this thing or getting stuff together. I'm trying to get on him about that, but
Steve's
he might not need to.
I love Steve.
Yeah, man. I know him now. We're like friends, but I've never even met him in person. Like I'm looking forward to.
That was the first time I met him in person. Was at this event last year.
Okay.
And I tell you what, about right as it ended, he gave me and my friend Josh, who played Trump, and we did a little bit. At the end of it, he was like, he handed me this chocolate bar, and it was full of mushrooms. And
Oh God!
Oh no!
Josh and I ate the entire chocolate bar, and we were the most hilarious people to each other for the rest of that night. I don't know about anybody else, but we were cracking ourselves up the entire time.
Do they do like meditation and yoga and stuff like that? Like what is? I don't even know what this.
There's music.
Yeah.
So there's they had bands play from at least while I was there, and then there was a comedy show. I performed. There were some people who performed that had performed for the first time actually, that did very well. That do streams with Steve, and so I opened for Leonardo Joni and Sam Tripoli, and Sam and Leonardo they just killed it, and then Josh came up and performed with me, and it went really well, and people were trading recipes, and there was food being cooked, so there was all kind of like homestead type stuff going on.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if there was yoga per se, but there might have been. I wasn't there the whole time.
If it's called the Third Eye Festival, there should be yoga. Or
most people were
meditation
staying
or
outside.
something.
Like me and Josh and a few others were the only ones in actual hotels, so they had tents and stuff set up. And
You could do something if you want. We could put you in touch. So can Brad put you in touch with Steve if you want to do something there.
I teach yoga and meditation. So.
That's a great idea, actually.
And I
Really?
teach practices that are supposed to open your third eye in a natural, healthy way.
Yeah, I'll go.
Absolutely. All right, man.
All right, guys. Thank you, guys. Good meeting you.
Let's do it again soon. And everybody listening, propagandafight.com. Thank you for the comments. And share the show with your friends. And leave a 5-star review that warms our heart. That's all we ask. And we'll talk to you next time. Y'all have a fantastic rest of your evening.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.